I'm Dr. Freda Lewis Hall, Chief Medical Officer of Pfizer. Even though breast cancer is the most common cancer in women worldwide, it's still very difficult for us to talk about. That's why we're particularly grateful to Brooke Anderson and to her mother, Vicki, for allowing us to share your family's journey with breast cancer.
Thank you. Well, we think raising awareness is so important. Early detection is key. It is essential. So my mom is happy to share her story through me. So I'm happy to be here.
And you make such a tremendous point. A lot of advances have been made through early detection and finding breast cancer early. At the other end of the spectrum, not quite as much progress has been made with metastatic cancer. So once the cancer has left the breast and gone to other parts of the body like lymph nodes and bone and lung. So it was very important that she was able to find it early.
Absolutely. It saved her life. We were holding our breath through the surgery, and then the surgeon following the procedure said, everything looks good. And, oh, it does? It looks good? Really? We couldn't even, we couldn't believe it.
I do want to mention how important it is for early detection, but I also want to remind women who may have metastatic cancer, or for women, or for people who know women who might, that their very important research is ongoing today. There's a lot of work that's happening, and researchers are trying to advance specialized form or targeted forms of treatment for women who are diagnosed with later stage or advanced breast cancer. And women should continue to stay on top of important information in the field, so really know what's going on and what research is happening. And some women may even want to consider being a part of a clinical trial, so to talk to their physician about being referred into participation in a clinical trial.
Yeah, what else should my mom do at this point? Because she is hormone receptor positive, which of course means that, her tumor was fueled by her hormones. So part of her treatment is an estrogen blocker so that that hormone does not increase and produce other tumors to pop up elsewhere. But what else? She's diligent about taking her medicine and following doctor's orders, but what else should she do to ensure long-term health?
It sounds like your mother is the model patient. She's been the kind of captain of her own treatment and the chief medical officer. She stays really informed and up on recent literature and is right in there making choices, which is also very important. Her tenacity is really clear, and that is so important. This is not a short road. It is a long road, which means all the things like staying current with her medications, keeping all of her appointments, being aggressive about her follow-up are all very important things. And it also sounds like she does something that is critically important that people often forget, and that is to keep a positive attitude, because your mental attitude has a lot to do with your physical well-being.
I think that's critical, and some days were better than others. She, her spirits would be high one day, and the next day she would be scared for her life. But I think you're right. Psychologically, it is so important to lift yourself up as much as you can. Get your mind off it if you can. Think about other things that make you happy.
And speaking of kind of lifting your spirits and trying to take your mind off of it, in some cases, formal support groups are formed to help women kind of get through this from women who have already gone through it. Did your mother and your family tap into these support groups?
There are excellent resources, like you mentioned, and I did bring that up to her at one point. But within her own community, her friends, her church, there have been so many people to rally around her, support her, share their own experiences with cancer. So it's been quite a blessing for her. I mean, my parents did not have to worry about a dinner on the table for 2 straight months. And that was community coming together. And I think it was a real testament to them and how they've also been compassionate for other people over the years. And then the favor was returned.
And, well, you make a wonderful point. Many times people say, I don't know what to do.
Right.
I don't know what to say. And in many cases, it is the simple things that you can do to help the family out. A meal, offering to pick things up from the grocery, to drop things off, to take mail. I mean, there's so many things that just make life easier when you're going through challenges like this. And it sounds like your mother had such a wonderful community behind her.
Oh, sometimes the smallest gestures can mean the most most. And I have seen that.
It sounds like you all learned a lot from this experience. What is it that you would want women to know as a result of this experience that you, your mother, and your family have had?
Early detection. I mean, it could have been a drastically different outcome. And I try to remain vigilant about self-exams. I'm not as good as I should be, probably. I have in the past had a cyst biopsied. It was benign, but I had not planned on getting a mammogram until I was 40 years old. But now I will get a mammogram and be very, very vigilant about that.
Well, it sounds like that is a critical message that we try and get out to women. Doing it on your own doesn't mean doing it alone.
Right.
And, there's help around. And also, putting things off is not necessarily the right way to go, especially when your health is involved.
I think sometimes as women, we feel mistakenly that we are invincible and we're multitasking and taking care of this and that and this, but we're not. And we can be weakened and taken to our knees in a flash with something like this. So it is so important to take time for our own health.